Hello everyone, and welcome to Greetings, monsters from Monsterville. Greetings, monsters from Monsterville, and so greetings, monsters from Monsterville. It's me, Dr. Gavin Mr. Hyde, and welcome back to another Movie Geek episode, which the intro already played from that YouTube poop site. Oh wow, a text message. So anyways, we're going to review a YouTube poop video, which to me, I think it's so good that it could be a movie at any point of time. Maybe I will make it into a movie. Oh wait, I got that one movie to do. So anyways, YouTube poop is like this silly videos which is kind of like a parody of anything. Like how I did that weird little thing at the beginning.
Or maybe I will do a weird thing right now.
So anyways, the YouTube poop video I'm talking about, which is to me so good that it can be actually a movie that I think someone should make. Probably, maybe I will. Which the video is called Mr. Krabs' Unqualified Bloodlust. And oh my god, is it amazing. So pretty much Mr. Krabs' Unqualified Bloodlust is pretty much, in a summary, a Nazi Patty episode, but turned into like a kind of like a horror movie parody of it in a nutshell. And I think it's really good. And I don't know why I'm reviewing a YouTube poop video, which is a nonsensical thing. Well, I think this YouTube poop video is actually kind of sensical. I don't know. It's just that good. And I do recommend watching the video because I think it's good. So anyways, let's get into the review. So the video starts off with the health inspector driving into the Krusty Krab. Then the camera is pointing at his little badge of the health inspector right here. And you see Mr. Krabs' face coming up saying, "The health inspector!" Then the news come up saying that it is probably maybe a fake one. In fact, in the real episode of SpongeBob, which this YouTube poop video is based off of, called Nazi Patty, the health inspector in that one is actually a real one. But I think in the YouTube poop video one, it is a fake. Anyways, it doesn't show the fake in the YouTube poop video, so I think it treats it like it's a fake version of it. Then you see Mr. Krabs' head again, and with a car noise crash thing, and then Mr. Krabs' head gets tinier. Then you see the health inspector eating Mr. Krabs' free food. That's right, free food. And I put it in quotes to seal it up. And you hear the music from Amadeus, which is my all-time favorite real-life type of movie, which is about Mozart and Salieri meeting and having kind of like a little contest. The music is the la la da da da. Then you see Mr. Krabs get angry, saying, "Free food!" Then Mr. Krabs says, "We need to kill him," or something like that line. Then SpongeBob give the Krabby Patty to the health inspector. Now, in the real episode of Nasty Patty, SpongeBob joined Mr. Krabs, and they thought that it would be like a bad Krabby Patty. Then when they serve it to him, he was choking on the fly, which he was still alive, and then they thought they'd kill him. But in the parody, SpongeBob didn't want it to join him, but have to serve it to him, and I love how Squidward never appeared in the Nasty Patty video. I guess he was sick or something. Then that Nasty Patty actually killed him in the YouTube poop video. Then you see SpongeBob digging a hole, then burying the helping actor in the hole. Then SpongeBob says, "Why?" And Mr. Krabs says a curse word to him, saying no one will know. Then the police come, and from there, when the police come, that when Nasty Patty and the YouTube poop video actually separate from each other, instead of the video that it is based off of, the SpongeBob episode. Nasty Patty, instead of like parodying that one, instead it goes with Mr. Krabs as a murderer. And then Mr. Krabs had a machine gun somehow, then shoot the main cop, then had a flamethrower somehow, then blow up the car with SpongeBob seeing that, and then you hear the most evil laugh I think ever existed. So you hear Mr. Krabs in his evil laugh saying, then you see Mr. Krabs on his bed and hearing voices in his dreams and seeing stuff from his dreams saying, "Kill him! More! Kill him! More! 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 Oh! More! 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 Oh! Oh! Then you see a picture of the Krusty Krab. Then you hear Mr. Krabs saying, "Stop it!" Then Mr. Krabs go completely insane, and Squidward appears in the video. I guess he's that fast of a appearance, and tells SpongeBob that he went completely insane, and SpongeBob calls the cops, and then they tie Mr. Krabs to his chair, but before they tie him, they actually beat him, because he's a psychopath. That's what you do with a psychopath that can murder you any single time of the week. And then the cops drive in, then you hear a line from Robot Chicken, which Mr. Krabs says, "Why, you little yellow belly." I'm not saying the cuss word, of course. So anyways, then Mr. Krabs says, "I trusted you, and you give me this?" Then he says a line from the Wet Painters video, which he says, "I kill you," and blah blah blah. Then the cops beat him up, then you see him in jail with a GTA music going on, and you be like, dancing. It's really that good. You see Mr. Krabs going insane again, and then you see him going all like Super Saiyans, being all like, then you see a creepy version of Mr. Krabs, and also that's one of the parts where it's supposed to be a YouTube poop. If this was actually a movie, I felt like it will have like maybe like 0% of YouTube poop style to it. I don't know. Then you see Squidward walking on the road, and somehow did it crash into a bus, saying how glad he is without Mr. Krabs. Then looks around a little bit, then he sits on his little beach chair, and it is outside on his front lawn, and he says everything is fine. Then he goes into the dream, then the Krusty Krab is burning, then you hear and see Mr. Krabs saying,
Squidward!
Then you see Squidward in a cartoon fashion blowing out the dream, and then you see Squidward making a face. Then you see a random moment of Mr. Krabs doing random things, like making more eyes, having a human face. That's one of the parts where it gets YouTube poop, including one more part that I will mention at the end. Then the cops come in saying that he's like insane or going insane. Then you see Mr. Krabs ripping off the police's face off clean with their skeleton showing off and blood slitting everywhere. And yeah, and then you see Mr. Krabs escaping the prison, and you see Mr. Krabs' head on this body figure, which is borrowed from a movie, which I don't know where it's from exactly. Then he finally escapes. Then Squidward locks all of his doors, then go insane, and you hear a echo of him going on. Then Squidward takes a bath. Then you see a kind of like a scene of from the movie Shining, where Johnny or John Boy axing down the door. Then Mr. Krabs says, "Oh yeah, Mr. Krabs." Then you see the room going all red before Squidward got in his head cut off or stabbed with the axe. Then the newspaper boy gives SpongeBob and Patrick a newspaper saying that Squidward got in his face axe off. Then they need to leave Bikini Bottom, so they leave Bikini Bottom. Then they appear in Mr. Krabs' little camping spot. Then when they go in, they like open the can, then there's blood flying everywhere, and then they finally open a paper with Squidward's head in it. And before the video began, there was a part where SpongeBob and Patrick was opening the paper, and then Mr. Krabs was actually behind them, and there was like people's faces melting off. In fact, one of the face melting off was from Indiana Jones. So Mr. Krabs come in, then they run off from Mr. Krabs, and you get all like Texas Chainsaw Massacre style. Then Patrick gets murdered. Then SpongeBob goes into his pineapple, and then it goes all like horror movie tropes, you know, the powers cutting off. Then you see Patrick coming in to the house. Then it was actually Mr. Krabs. Then you see Krabs holding a knife. Then Mr. Krabs says a one-liner, and SpongeBob says, "No!" Then Mr. Krabs thought he stabbed SpongeBob, and it was actually he stabbed a bomb. And then SpongeBob says a really good one-liner, which is, "I should have done this a long time ago." Then you hear Mr. Krabs saying, "No!" Then the pineapple blows up. Then you get some sweet thriller music from Michael Jackson, which is really good. Then you see the end credits, and it turned out that it was just Patrick's story. And SpongeBob says F-bomb on Patrick. So that was Mr. Krabs' Unqualified Bloodlust, and I really like it. I think it's a good YouTube poop video, which I wish someone can direct it or make it into a movie. I would do it. Thank you, Dr. Gavin. You are a great person. You're welcome. So anyways, I give this YouTube poop video a 9 out of 10. See you all later. Please subscribe. Get me to 200 and I will dye my hair purple. Leave a comment if you want to. See you later. Bye!